Alright, I want to do an unboxing video of the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Explorer in 40mm. This is a new release. Now it was also released in 39mm, and now here it is in its glory in 40mm. And this is a really cool looking watch, and it's not particularly my cup of tea, but I think I can see how somebody could really get behind this watch and really like it. It's got a super glossy dial. First and foremost, it pops out, which I find interesting design choice for a field watch or an Explorer. I feel like a matte dial would have been more fitting, but nonetheless, it looks really nice. If you can see it in comparison to my Rolex Oyster Perpetual 36mm here on the left, this definitely reflects a lot more light and is less subdued than my Oyster Perpetual. The Explorer definitely reflects more light and is a little bit more blingy, if you will. Probably also goes with because of this flat bezel, whereas this one has a rounded bezel. The flat bezel reflects quite a bit of light. The 40mm case diameter is not, as I mentioned, my cup of tea because I prefer smaller 36mm watches. I also think that, I remember the Rolex Explorer as a 36mm watch, but this is fantastic for those who have larger wrists and are looking for something that's a little bit more noticeable. If you see this edge right here, the bezel actually hangs over the edge, and you can feel it as you run your finger up and across, which I find that's interesting. Whereas on this Oyster Perpetual of mine, it is flush, and it's the edge of the bezels curves down into the case, whereas this hangs over a touch. Moving on to any other design choices, this does have the clasp, double clasp with the double securement and extension. This does have the extension link in here. Let's see if I can get a video of that. There it is, right there, and you just fold it over and you can adjust the actual length of the watch that way, or length of the bracelet. Other than that, fit and finishes as you would expect for any Rolex, superb. The hour markers are a touch larger to keep in proportion with the 40mm watch. Nonetheless, this is just a total mild or very quick overview of the Rolex Explorer in 40mm. Really cool looking watch. There's not much three-dimensionality to the handset. They're very flat and flush. And I think the lume on the second hand is also a cool touch. So in complete darkness, you can evaluate whether the watch is in fact running or not, just like you would be able to on divers. So that's pretty fancy or neat as well. A couple more details about this watch. This watch does use the 904 Rolex Oyster steel metal, stainless steel metal for the watch. It does have waterproofness rating or water resistance rating down to 100 meters. It does have a screw down crown, which is not a trip lock but a dual lock. It does have the 3230 movement in there, which is COSC certified to ±2 seconds per day. It does have a 70-hour power reserve. It also does have a Oyster steel bracelet with the folding Oyster lock safety clasp and Easy Link 5mm comfort extension link. So you can adjust this by additional 5mm without having to add a link or remove a link, but just by undoing the clasp and using the extension. As mentioned earlier, the dial's black. To my eye, it's glossy, and they do use the Chromolite, Rolex's in-house lume, which is Chromolite. And that's about it. Overall, this is a cool watch. I would look forward to trying to get one of these maybe in 36mm. If someone this suits, I think they would be really happy with it. One last detail is there is a lume inside the 369 numerals, so every hour marker is technically loomed, which is a nice touch. Alright, thanks, take care.